Before you fall asleep tonight, remember this. Every breath you take carries atoms older than Earth itself. The air in your lungs once moved through ancient forests, deep oceans, and creatures long vanished from time. Beneath your feet, life survives in darkness and heat. Above you, stars that died billions of years ago live on inside your bones. This planet has endured fire, ice, extinction, and rebirth, and you are part of that story. So close your eyes, slow your breath, and drift with me through the quiet wonders of life. From the smallest living cells to the vast, ancient universe that made you. Hello, and welcome to Dreamy Science Stories. Tonight, without traveling far at all, we'll drift gently through the quiet wonders of our own planet. We'll explore the hidden forms of life woven into the ground beneath our feet, the air we breathe, and the unseen worlds that surround us. Life on Earth has done more than simply survive. It has learned how to adapt, transform, and quietly flourish in almost every imaginable condition. Sometimes it glows softly in the deepest oceans. Sometimes it clings to bare rock in the driest deserts. And sometimes it drifts invisibly through the very air we inhale without a thought. Some life forms have existed for hundreds of millions of years with little change at all. Others thrive in environments so extreme they seem almost impossible. Each one is a small but essential piece of a vast, interconnected whole. A silent, intricate puzzle where every living thing belongs. If you enjoy these gentle journeys, you're welcome to like the video, subscribe to the channel, or share a favorite thought in the comments below. It helps others find their way here as well. One resting mind at a time. But for now, there is nothing you need to do. Simply rest. Let your breathing slow. Allow your thoughts to soften. And let the story of life unfold on its own. Life may have begun in the deep ocean. When we imagine the origins of life, we often picture warm, sunlit waters. But many scientists now believe the story may have begun in a far darker place. Deep beneath the ocean's surface, hydrothermal vents rise from the seafloor, releasing scorching, mineral-rich water from within the earth. At first glance, these environments seem hostile and unforgiving. Yet they are rich with chemical energy. Minerals form tiny chambers and surfaces where simple molecules may have gathered and slowly assembled into more complex structures. Some researchers believe these mineral pockets acted as the earliest laboratories of life. Sheltered spaces where fragile beginnings were protected from the chaos of early Earth. Even today, these vents support thriving ecosystems that exist without sunlight, drawing energy directly from the planet's chemistry. It's humbling to imagine that our shared story may have started not with light and warmth, but with heat, pressure, and darkness. Some creatures can freeze solid and live again. Imagine being frozen completely, your body locked in ice, only to awaken later as if nothing had happened. For certain creatures, this is not imagination. It is survival. In North America, species like the wood frog allow their bodies to freeze during winter. Their hearts stop. Blood flow ceases. Yet they do not die. Special substances in their bodies act like natural antifreeze, protecting cells from damage. When spring returns, the ice melts and life resumes. Insects and microscopic organisms have developed similar abilities, surviving deep freezes that would be fatal to most life. These adaptations remind us that life is not fragile. It is endlessly inventive, capable of pausing and beginning again. Entire ecosystems live without sunlight. We often think of the sun as the ultimate source of all life. Yet far below the reach of light, in the deepest oceans, entire ecosystems thrive in total darkness. Around hydrothermal vents, blind crabs, giant tube worms, and ghostly fish flourish. Instead of sunlight, they rely on chemosynthesis, where bacteria harvest energy from chemicals like hydrogen sulfide. Deep underground caves host similar life forms that have never known the sun. Their eyes fade or vanish entirely, while other senses sharpen to guide them through darkness. Life, it seems, is not bound to light. It can build complete worlds in the absence of it. Jellyfish have survived for over 500 million years. Jellyfish are among Earth's oldest living animals. They existed long before dinosaurs, trees, or most familiar forms of life. Their bodies are simple, composed mostly of water, with no bones, brains, or hearts. Yet their design is so effective it has remained largely unchanged for over 500 million years. They drift with ocean currents, sometimes glowing softly, sometimes gathering in vast blooms visible even from space. They regenerate, adapt, and thrive where many creatures cannot. Watching a jellyfish pulse through the water feels like gazing into deep time itself. A living reminder of endurance and quiet persistence. Some microbes feed on rocks. Not all life feeds on plants, animals, or sunlight. Some organisms survive by consuming minerals and stone. These microbes extract energy by stripping electrons from substances like iron, sulfur, or uranium. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in total darkness, entire communities live this way. Scientists believe such organisms may resemble life on other planets. Simple, resilient, and able to survive on bare geology alone. Over vast timescales, they even reshape their environment, slowly altering the rocks around them. Invisible miners, patiently thriving where almost nothing else can. Some living organisms are thousands of years old. Certain forms of life endure not as individuals, but as continuous beings. Beneath the oceans, ancient seagrass meadows have existed for over 10,000 years. On land, vast forests of genetically identical trees spread from a single root system. These organisms have witnessed ice ages, climate shifts, and countless generations pass by. For them, time flows slowly and steadily. A single fungus can cover miles of land. In Oregon, beneath an ordinary-looking forest, lies one of the largest living organisms on Earth. A vast fungal network stretches silently beneath the soil, spanning kilometers. Above ground, it appears as scattered mushrooms. Below, it is one immense, interconnected life form, thousands of years old. As you walk through the forest, you may never notice it. Yet you are standing on a living giant. The earth is filled with quiet wonders, and many of them continue their work while we sleep. You are not one being, you are an ecosystem. If you imagine yourself as a single, independent individual, science gently invites you to reconsider. You are not one life. You are many. Inside your body lives an entire ecosystem, vast and dynamic. For every human cell that carries your DNA, there are at least as many microbial companions, and often far more. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, and archaea inhabit your skin, your mouth, your lungs, your gut, and even tissues once believed to be sterile. Together, they are known as the microbiome. And they quietly shape almost every aspect of your existence. They help digest food you could not process alone. They train your immune system, teaching it what to fight and what to tolerate. They influence mood, energy levels, and even how your brain responds to stress. Many of these organisms are essential. Without them, survival would be impossible. Others live alongside you peacefully, neither helping nor harming, simply sharing the space. Altogether, they form a living city within you, constantly changing with your diet, environment, and experiences. When you realize that more of you is microbial than human, a deeper truth emerges. Life is never solitary. Even within your own body, existence is a network. A quiet cooperation. A shared dance of countless lives moving together as one. Tardigrades can survive the vacuum of space. Among the smallest creatures on Earth lives one of its greatest survivors. Tardigrades, often called water bears, are microscopic animals that resemble tiny, wrinkled creatures with 8 stubby legs and curious snouts. They are smaller than a grain of sand, yet their resilience borders on the unbelievable. When conditions become hostile, when water disappears, temperatures plunge, or radiation intensifies, tardigrades enter a state known as cryptobiosis. They dry out almost completely. Their metabolism slows to nearly nothing. Life pauses. In this suspended state, tardigrades can endure extremes that would destroy almost any other organism. They have survived intense radiation, boiling heat, freezing cold, crushing pressure, and even the vacuum of outer space. After years, sometimes decades, without water or activity, they can be revived simply by rehydration. Their cells are protected by unique proteins and sugars that stabilize DNA and membranes, preventing damage while time stands still. They are living proof that life can endure in places that seem utterly impossible. And if such resilience exists here on Earth, it opens a quiet question. What else might survive on distant worlds? Some fish can change sex during their lives. Beneath the ocean surface, identity is not always fixed. In many fish species, sex is not a permanent trait, but a flexible response to social balance. In clownfish communities, the largest and most dominant individual becomes female. All others remain male. If the female disappears, the largest male undergoes a transformation, becoming female and restoring the group structure. In wrasses and groupers, similar shifts occur. Individuals change sex depending on population needs, size, or hierarchy. These transformations are not superficial. Entire reproductive systems reorganize. Hormone levels shift. Behavior adapts. Nature reminds us that the categories humans often consider rigid can be fluid in the wild. In the ocean, survival favors adaptability. And these fish demonstrate how life can rewrite its own rules to ensure continuity. Axolotls can regrow parts of their brains. The axolotl, sometimes called the Mexican walking fish, is unlike any other amphibian. With its feathery external gills, youthful appearance, and calm expression, it already feels otherworldly. But its greatest marvel lies beneath the surface. Axolotls possess an extraordinary ability to regenerate. They can regrow lost limbs, spinal cords, heart tissue, and even portions of their brains. Where humans heal with scars, axolotls rebuild perfectly. After injury, their cells revert to a flexible, stem-like state and reconstruct missing structures with astonishing accuracy. Nothing is patched. Everything is restored. Scientists study axolotls intensely, hoping to understand this regenerative power. If unlocked, it could transform medicine, offering insights into healing spinal injuries or damaged organs. For the axolotl, regeneration is not miraculous. It is simply life as usual, a quiet rhythm of renewal that keeps it perpetually resilient. Some frogs can stop breathing for months. During the deep stillness of winter, certain frogs perform an almost unimaginable feat: they stop breathing altogether. Buried beneath mud or fallen leaves, they enter a suspended state. Their metabolism slows to a whisper. Their hearts barely move. Species like marsh frogs absorb oxygen directly through their skin while remaining motionless underwater for months at a time. Others survive with almost no oxygen at all. When warmth returns, they awaken. Breathing resumes. Life continues. This ability to endure through stillness reminds us that survival is not always about action. Sometimes, it is about patience. About waiting quietly until the world becomes gentle again. A shrimp can create heat hotter than the sun. One of the ocean's most astonishing creatures is the pistol shrimp. Small enough to fit in your hand, it carries a claw that behaves like a living weapon. When snapped shut, the claw shoots a jet of water at incredible speed, creating a cavitation bubble. As the bubble collapses, it releases a shockwave powerful enough to stun or kill prey. In that fleeting moment, temperatures inside the collapsing bubble exceed those found on the surface of the sun. A flash of light is even produced, a phenomenon known as sonoluminescence. Entire shrimp colonies create crackling sounds beneath the sea, like distant fires burning underwater. It is a reminder that immense power can hide within the smallest forms. Birds can sense Earth's magnetic field. How does a bird navigate across oceans or continents with such precision? Many species possess a hidden sense known as magnetoception. They can perceive Earth's magnetic field, using it as a natural compass. This ability may rely on magnetic particles within their tissues or light-sensitive proteins in their eyes. Some birds may even see magnetic fields as faint visual patterns layered over the world. Invisible to us, but clear to them. This sense guides Arctic terns across the entire planet. It helps pigeons return home from unfamiliar locations. For these birds, the Earth itself whispers directions through the air. Monarch butterflies travel across generations. Every autumn, monarch butterflies begin a journey that spans thousands of kilometers. From North America, they travel to mountain forests in central Mexico. What makes this migration extraordinary is that no single butterfly completes the round trip. The journey is carried across generations. Great-grandchildren complete the path their ancestors began. Guided by instincts written deep within them, they return to the same forests year after year. To witness a forest filled with monarchs is to see living poetry. Fragile wings following ancient maps etched into being itself. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. The octopus is one of Earth's most alien intelligences. It has 3 hearts. 2 pump blood through its gills. 1 delivers oxygen to the rest of its body. Its blood is blue, colored by copper rather than iron. This allows survival in cold, oxygen-poor waters. But the octopus is more than physiology. It can change color and texture instantly, solve puzzles, slip through impossibly small spaces. To meet an octopus is to encounter a mind shaped by an entirely different evolutionary path. A reminder that intelligence has many forms. Crows can recognize human faces. Crows are among the most intelligent birds on Earth. They can remember individual human faces and hold those memories for years. In experiments, crows warned others about specific people who posed a threat. Long after the encounter, they remembered. They also recognized kindness. Some even leave small gifts, shiny objects, tokens of quiet exchange. In their dark eyes lives a sharp awareness. Proof that intelligence often watches us back. Minds that remember you. The ability to recognize and remember individual faces reveals a depth of social intelligence that feels strikingly close to our own. When a crow pauses, tilts its head, and fixes you with its dark, reflective eyes, it is difficult not to feel seen. Behind that glossy gaze is a mind that remembers encounters, weighs intentions, and makes quiet judgments. Crows have been shown to recall human faces for years, distinguishing friend from threat long after a single meeting. Even more remarkable, they can share this knowledge with others, warning their flock about specific individuals. It invites a gentle question. When you watch a crow watching you, who is truly observing whom? Dolphins call each other by name. Beneath the shimmering surface of the ocean, dolphins live in close-knit societies rich with communication, play, and cooperation. Among their most astonishing abilities is the use of unique signature whistles, the dolphin equivalent of names. Each dolphin develops its own distinct whistle early in life, a sound that becomes part of its identity. Others learn and recognize this whistle, calling it out to get the individual's attention, even when the sound is imitated by another dolphin. This behavior suggests a rare level of self-awareness and social complexity. Dolphins don't just respond to sounds. They recognize who is being called. Researchers have even recorded dolphins calling out to companions who were temporarily separated, as if checking who is present in the vast openness of the sea. To imagine a pod weaving through blue water, voices rising and falling in a chorus of names, is to glimpse a culture alive with memory and connection. Elephants can sense storms from far away. Elephants are giants not only in size, but in perception. With ears that stretch wide and feet that rest directly on the earth, they are deeply attuned to the world around them. Studies suggest elephants can detect distant storms from hundreds of kilometers away. They may sense low-frequency vibrations carried through the ground or infrasonic sounds produced by thunder and shifting weather systems, frequencies too deep for human hearing. This awareness allows them to begin long migrations toward water and shelter before a single cloud appears overhead. Elephants also communicate using similar low-frequency calls, sending messages across vast distances through the ground itself. To stand near an elephant is to stand beside a being that listens not just to sound, but to the subtle movements of the planet. A creature that feels the sky long before the rain arrives. Whales sing songs that evolve. In the dim blue depths of the ocean, humpback whales sing. Their songs are long, layered sequences of moans, pulses, and resonant notes that can travel hundreds of kilometers through water. A single song may last for hours, repeating in cycles as the whale drifts through the sea. But what makes these songs extraordinary is not only their haunting beauty. It is their ability to change. Over months and years, whale populations collectively alter their songs. New phrases are added. Old ones fade away. Entire melodies evolve, spreading from one group to another like cultural waves moving across oceans. Sometimes, whole populations adopt a new song within a remarkably short time. Why they do this remains a mystery. Courtship, communication, shared creativity. Whatever the reason, their voices turn the ocean into a living symphony. Always shifting, always alive. Bats navigate using hidden light. As the sun sets and twilight spreads across the sky, invisible patterns emerge. Light scatters in the atmosphere, forming bands of polarization unseen by human eyes. Certain bats can perceive these patterns. They use them as a quiet compass, orienting themselves during twilight before the night fully falls. Combined with echolocation, this ability allows bats to migrate across vast distances, navigating forests, deserts, and coastlines with astonishing precision. To them, the sky is not fading into darkness. It is revealing a hidden map. Their flight reminds us that the world carries layers of information beyond our senses. Signals written into light itself, guiding those who know how to read them. Slime molds can solve mazes without a brain. Slime molds defy easy classification. They are not animals, plants, or fungi, but something entirely their own. Often existing as a single giant cell, they slowly creep across surfaces in search of food. Despite having no brain, no neurons, and no nervous system, slime molds display behaviors that resemble intelligence. In laboratory experiments, they have been placed in mazes with food at different exits. Over time, the slime mold explores every path. Dead ends are abandoned. Efficient routes are reinforced. Eventually, the organism traces the shortest possible path, as if solving the maze. They can even anticipate repeating events, adjusting behavior as though learning from experience. These discoveries challenge our ideas about intelligence itself. Slime molds suggest that problem-solving does not belong exclusively to brains. It can emerge from life acting together, cell by cell, responding to the world. Ants practiced agriculture long before humans. Millions of years before humans planted their first fields, ants were already farming. Leafcutter ants march in endless lines, carrying fragments of leaves far larger than themselves into underground chambers. But they do not eat the leaves. Instead, they carefully prepare them as food for cultivated fungi, which becomes the colony's primary nourishment. Over time, ants and fungi evolved into complete interdependence. The fungi cannot survive without the ants. The ants cannot survive without the fungi. Even more remarkably, the ants host beneficial bacteria on their bodies that produce natural antibiotics, protecting their crops from disease. A system of agriculture, pest control, and cooperation perfected tens of millions of years ago. Beneath our feet lies a quiet reminder. Innovation is not new. Nature has been practicing it for ages. And colonies can become underground cities. A single leafcutter ant colony can contain millions of individuals. Its underground structure stretches through vast networks of tunnels and chambers, some extending for dozens of meters. There are nurseries for larvae, vaults for the queen, expansive fungal gardens tended day and night. Communication flows through chemical signals, guiding workers with astonishing efficiency. When scientists map these colonies, they resemble human cities, complete with infrastructure, division of labor, and waste management. Yet these cities are built by blind workers, each guided by instinct and cooperation rather than design. It is a humbling realization. Complex societies can emerge without architects, blueprints, or conscious planning. Termites build living air-conditioned skyscrapers. Across the savannas of Africa and Australia, termite mounds rise from the earth like ancient monuments. Some tower more than 6 meters high. Inside, millions of termites live and farm fungi for food. Despite scorching heat by day and cool temperatures by night, the interior climate remains remarkably stable. The mound functions like a living lung. Air flows through vents, chimneys, and porous walls, regulating temperature and humidity. Termites continuously adjust the structure, responding to subtle environmental changes. These natural designs have inspired human architects searching for sustainable cooling systems. Grain by grain, termites build structures that rival modern engineering in efficiency. The deep ocean glows with living light. Far below the reach of sunlight, the deep ocean is not dark. It is illuminated by life itself. Countless organisms produce bioluminescence, glowing in shades of blue, green, and sometimes red. Tiny plankton sparkle like drifting stars. Fish carry glowing lures to attract prey. Others flash light to confuse predators or signal mates. In this silent darkness, light becomes language. A reminder that even in the deepest shadows, life finds ways to shine. Jellyfish move through the darkness like living pulses of light, their bodies igniting with neon patterns that ripple and fade. Some species transform themselves into drifting fireworks, flashing sudden bursts of color that confuse predators and dissolve their outlines into chaos. In the deep ocean, light is not decoration, It is a tool. It is used to hunt, to hide, to attract a mate, and to speak in a language older than sound. Some creatures glow constantly, wearing their light like a second skin, while others unleash it in brief, explosive signals that vanish as quickly as they appear. For sailors throughout history, glowing seas inspired both awe and fear, as if the ocean itself were alive. But for the creatures that belong here, this radiance is survival, communication, and sometimes something that feels almost like art. In the absence of sunlight, life did not surrender to darkness. Instead, it learned to create its own stars. On warm, humid nights in places like Southeast Asia or the Great Smoky Mountains, fireflies turn entire forests into living galaxies. At first, their flashes seem scattered and unplanned, tiny sparks drifting through the dark. Then, slowly, something extraordinary happens. One by one, the insects begin to fall into rhythm. Thousands of lights pulse together, rising and fading in perfect synchrony, like the heartbeat of the forest itself. Each firefly subtly adjusts its timing to match its neighbors until the pattern spreads across trees and valleys. Scientists believe this coordination improves their chances of finding a mate, but to witness it feels far more magical than biological. Imagine standing beneath the trees as waves of golden light sweep through the air, as if the night itself is breathing. Creatures no larger than grains of rice create spectacles that rival humanity's greatest light shows, and they do it night after night, as part of an ancient, unbroken ritual. Squid are masters of illusion, their bodies equipped with layers of specialized cells that manipulate light with astonishing precision. Chromatophores expand and contract to change color, iridophores reflect shimmering hues, and leucophores scatter light like frosted glass. Working together, these systems allow squid to create stripes, ripples, and shifting patterns in an instant. Some species go even further. By bending and scattering light in just the right way, they make themselves nearly invisible, dissolving into the surrounding water until their edges disappear entirely. Others become ghost-like and translucent, their internal organs faintly visible as the rest of their bodies fade away. In the open ocean, where there is nowhere to hide, invisibility becomes the ultimate defense. It is also a powerful weapon, allowing squid to approach prey unseen, like phantoms drifting through the deep. What science fiction dreams of, evolution has already perfected. Sharks are among the most ancient predators on Earth, yet some of them carry light within their bodies. Lantern sharks glow softly in the dark, emitting pale blue or green light from their undersides. This bioluminescence acts as camouflage, matching the faint glow filtering down from the surface and erasing their silhouette from the eyes of predators below. Other glowing sharks may use light to communicate, signaling rivals or potential mates in the vast darkness. Their bodies are dotted with photophores, tiny light-producing organs arranged like constellations across their skin. In the ocean's twilight zone, these sharks drift like living stars. The idea of a predator glowing gently in the abyss transforms our image of the deep, not as an empty void, but as a silent theater where even hunters carry lanterns and survival itself shines. In the freezing waters of the North Atlantic swims one of the most mysterious creatures on the planet, the Greenland shark. These massive animals move slowly through the dark, often partially blind due to parasitic worms clinging to their eyes. Yet they live lives of extraordinary length. By analyzing the radiocarbon levels in their eye tissue, scientists have discovered individuals more than 400 years old, making them the longest-lived vertebrates known. Some Greenland sharks were already swimming when Shakespeare was alive, before telescopes revealed distant galaxies, before entire civilizations rose and fell. They grow at a glacial pace, sometimes less than a centimeter per year, and may not reach maturity until they are over a century old. Their slow metabolism and icy habitats seem to shield them from time itself. To imagine a creature drifting silently through black waters for centuries is to realize that time does not flow the same way for all life on Earth. For most animals, oxygen is non-negotiable. Without it, death comes quickly. But in certain frozen ponds and oxygen-starved rivers, some fish perform feats that defy this rule entirely. Goldfish and their wild relatives, crucian carp, can survive for weeks without oxygen by rewriting the rules of metabolism. Instead of producing lactic acid, which would quickly become lethal, they convert it into ethanol, essentially alcohol, and release it harmlessly into the surrounding water. This remarkable adaptation allows them to endure long, suffocating winters trapped beneath ice, motionless and waiting. When oxygen finally returns, they awaken and resume life as if nothing happened. While humans struggle after minutes without air, these fish remain suspended in near stillness, proving that life can bend even its most fundamental limits when survival demands it. When rivers dry and drought turns landscapes into cracked clay, most fish have no escape. The lungfish, however, has mastered patience. This ancient species, a living fossil equipped with both gills and lungs, responds to disappearing water by burrowing deep into the mud. There, it secretes a slimy coating that hardens into a protective cocoon around its body. Inside, its metabolism slows to a near halt. It breathes air through its lungs in tiny, measured breaths and waits. Months can pass, even years. When the rains finally return and rivers flow once more, the lungfish breaks free from its earthen shell and swims away as though time itself paused for it. This state, known as estivation, allows lungfish to survive extremes that would kill almost any other vertebrate. Rather than resisting hardship, they endure it by sleeping through it, a strategy written into their bones by millions of years of evolution. For centuries, the life cycle of eels baffled humanity. Even Aristotle wondered where they came from, unable to find evidence of their reproduction. We now know that eels undertake one of the most astonishing migrations on Earth. European and American eels spend decades growing in rivers and lakes far from the ocean. Then, guided by instincts we still barely understand, they begin a journey spanning thousands of kilometers to the Sargasso Sea. There, in the open Atlantic among drifting seaweed, they spawn and die. Their offspring, tiny transparent larvae shaped like leaves, drift across the ocean on currents, slowly transforming as they return to the rivers their parents will never see again. It is a life cycle so secretive and improbable that scientists still struggle to observe it in full. Even now, the eel remains one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. As night settles over coral reefs, parrotfish prepare for sleep in a way unlike any other fish. Instead of hiding in rocks, they secrete a cocoon of mucus that envelops their bodies in a translucent bubble. This slimy shelter masks their scent from predators like Murray eels and may also protect them from parasites. Watching a parrotfish resting inside its shimmering veil feels almost unreal, as if it has wrapped itself in a ghostly blanket. At dawn, the fish breaks free and resumes its daily task of scraping coral with its beak-like jaws, producing the fine sand that forms tropical beaches. Each night, the ritual repeats. A fragile bed spun from mucus, proving that even sleep in the wild is an act of careful survival. In the delicate world of seahorses, nature reverses expectations. Here, it is the males who carry the young. After graceful courtship dances, the female transfers her eggs into a specialized pouch on the male's body. Inside, he fertilizes them and provides oxygen and nutrients as they develop. When the time comes, the male goes into labor, contracting and writhing as dozens, sometimes hundreds, of tiny seahorses burst into the water, fully formed. This rare arrangement allows females to produce more eggs while males take on the role of nurturer. To witness a male seahorse giving birth is both surreal and deeply moving, a quiet reminder that nature does not follow our assumptions, only its own ancient logic. The seahorse reminds us that gender roles in nature are far from fixed. Parenting does not follow a single script, and care can be carried by unexpected bodies. In this quiet corner of the ocean, we witness an inversion of assumptions we often take for granted. The male becomes the bearer of life, not as an exception, but as a successful evolutionary strategy. Nature does not enforce rigid roles. It experiments endlessly, shaping survival through flexibility rather than tradition. The seahorse teaches us that nurturing is not defined by gender, only by devotion. Some insects appear to perform miracles every day. Water striders, light and fragile with long, slender legs, glide effortlessly across ponds and streams as if skating on polished glass. Their secret is not magic, but physics refined by evolution. Microscopic hairs covering their legs repel water and trap tiny pockets of air, preventing them from breaking the surface tension. Each step presses gently against the water, forming small dimples that push back like invisible trampolines. Entire groups of water striders can gather and move together, tracing ripples across the surface like dancers across a mirrored stage. For them, the boundary between air and water is not an obstacle, but a habitat. A place rich with food and safe from predators lurking below. What humans have mythologized for centuries, walking on water, is simply another way of life perfected over millions of years. Among the smallest creatures on Earth are some of the strongest. Tardigrades, often called water bears, are tiny, round-bodied animals nearly invisible to the naked eye. Yet their resilience borders on the unbelievable. They can survive the vacuum of space, extreme temperatures, crushing pressures, and radiation levels thousands of times higher than what would kill a human. Their survival strategy lies in their ability to shut down. When conditions become hostile, tardigrades enter a state called cryptobiosis. Their bodies dry out, metabolism nearly stops, and special proteins shield their DNA from damage. In this suspended state, they can endure for years, even decades. With a single drop of water, they awaken and continue as if nothing happened. Scientists study them intensely, hoping to learn how such resilience might one day protect human cells or enable long-term space travel. Water bears remind us that strength is not always visible. Sometimes it is hidden in patience and the ability to wait out the impossible. In some of the harshest environments on Earth, life does not fight the elements. It hides. Certain algae survive by living inside rocks, burrowing into tiny pores beneath the surface. These endolithic organisms take shelter within translucent minerals that filter sunlight and protect them from searing heat, freezing cold, and drying winds. They survive on the faintest traces of light and moisture, seeping through microscopic cracks. Scientists have found them in Antarctica's dry valleys and in the Atacama Desert, places so extreme they resemble the surface of Mars. Their existence expands our understanding of where life can persist. Life does not always need open air or fertile soil. Sometimes, it only needs a thin window of possibility carved into stone. Lichens are not single beings, but partnerships. At first glance, they appear as simple crusts or leafy patches clinging to rocks, bark, or rooftops. In truth, each lichen is a union between a fungus and an alga, or sometimes cyanobacteria. The fungus builds structure, gathers minerals, and offers protection. The alga provides energy through photosynthesis. Alone, neither could survive where lichens thrive. Together, they become pioneers, colonizing bare rock and slowly breaking it down, preparing the ground for future life. Some lichens grow only millimeters per year and may live for thousands of years. They endure frozen tundra, blazing deserts, and polluted cities alike. Lichens teach a quiet lesson written across the planet's surface. Survival is not always about competition. Sometimes, it is about cooperation so complete that two lives become one. Deep underground, far from sunlight and fresh air, some bacteria live by rules entirely different from our own. For most organisms, oxygen is essential for respiration. But in dark sediments, caves, and aquifers where oxygen never reaches, certain bacteria breathe metal instead. Iron, manganese, and even uranium can serve as substitutes, accepting electrons in metabolic reactions. These bacteria leave behind rust-colored stains or transform metals into entirely new chemical forms, reshaping their environment grain by grain. Their existence hints at Earth's distant past, when oxygen was scarce and life relied on other elements to survive. It also opens possibilities for life beyond Earth, on worlds where oxygen may be absent. To imagine organisms that breathe metal is to recognize how adaptable life truly is, turning what seems inert and lifeless into energy. Plastic was once thought to be immortal. A material designed to resist decay, spreading across oceans and soils, persisting for centuries. Yet even plastic has begun to fall within life's reach. Scientists have discovered bacteria and fungi capable of breaking down certain plastics, using them as sources of energy. One bacterium, Ideonella sacaiensis, produces enzymes that dismantle PET, the plastic used in bottles and packaging. These processes are slow and imperfect, but they reveal something profound. In only a few decades, life has already begun adapting to a substance that never existed before. It is a sobering reflection of human impact on the planet, but also a testament to life's relentless creativity. Wherever materials accumulate, life experiments, searching for a way in. Beneath forests lies a hidden world of connection. Underground fungal threads, called mycelium, weave through the soil, linking the roots of trees into vast networks. Through these pathways, trees share nutrients, passing sugars, nitrogen, and phosphorus from one to another. They also send chemical warnings, alerting neighbors to insect attacks or drought. Older trees, known as mother trees, often support younger seedlings, nourishing them through these unseen channels. Scientists call this system the wood wide web. Though trees stand apart above ground, below they exist as a community, engaged in constant exchange. To walk through a forest with this knowledge is to realize you are standing in the middle of an ongoing conversation millions of years old. Plants, though rooted in place, are anything but silent. When insects begin chewing on their leaves, some plants release chemical signals into the air. These invisible messages drift to nearby plants, triggering defensive responses. Leaves may become tougher, more bitter, or filled with toxins. Some plants even summon predators of the insects, calling for help through scent alone. To humans, these signals often go unnoticed, faint perfumes lost in the breeze. But within fields and forests, they are urgent warnings, carried on the wind. Plants do not flee danger. They communicate, prepare, and resist, speaking a language written entirely in chemistry. The Venus flytrap stands as one of nature's most striking paradoxes. A plant that hunts. But it is also cautious. Inside each trap are delicate trigger hairs. A single touch means nothing. But if a second touch follows within a specific window of time, the trap snaps shut. The plant is counting. This mechanism ensures that it only expends energy when real prey is present. Once closed, continued movement inside the trap triggers the release of digestive enzymes, slowly dissolving the insect into nutrients. All of this happens without nerves, without a brain. It is intelligence expressed through structure and timing rather than thought. Watching a Venus flytrap at work feels like witnessing strategy without awareness, patience without intention. A reminder that cleverness in nature does not always look like a mind. Sometimes, it grows quietly from leaves. Some plants appear capable of remembering past experiences. Memory is usually associated with animals and brains, yet certain plants demonstrate a quiet form of learning. In laboratory experiments, the sensitive plant Mimosa pudica, known for folding its leaves when touched, was repeatedly dropped in a harmless way. At first, the plant reacted defensively, closing its leaves each time. But gradually, it stopped responding. It had learned that this specific stimulus posed no threat. Even weeks later, the plant retained this memory, remaining open during harmless drops while still reacting to genuinely new dangers. This form of memory does not rely on neurons or a nervous system. Instead, it emerges from biochemical changes within the plant cells, altering how signals are processed in the future. Though rooted and silent, plants are not passive. They register experience, adapt behavior, and carry the past forward in subtle molecular ways. Awareness, it seems, is not confined to minds alone. Bamboo is among the fastest growing plants on Earth, and its speed borders on the astonishing. Under ideal conditions, some species can grow nearly a meter in a single day. So rapidly, in fact, that patient observers claim they can almost see it rising. Bamboo's hollow, segmented stems act like natural pipelines, allowing water and nutrients to surge upward with remarkable efficiency. For thousands of years, humans have relied on bamboo for food, shelter, tools, paper, and music. Yet beyond its usefulness, bamboo has become a symbol in many cultures. A symbol of resilience, flexibility, and quiet strength. While forests of trees take decades to mature, bamboo can regenerate within a season after harvest. It bends without breaking, grows without hesitation, and renews itself endlessly. In bamboo, speed and patience coexist, offering a living lesson in how design and adaptability can create extraordinary growth. Deep within the rainforests of Sumatra grows one of the most dramatic plants on Earth. The Titanarum, often called the corpse flower, produces the largest flowering structure in the world. When it blooms, which may happen only once every several years, a single stalk can rise over 3 meters tall, towering like a biological monument. The interior of the bloom glows deep crimson, while the air fills with a powerful stench resembling rotting flesh. This odor is no accident. It attracts beetles and flies that feed on carrion, drawing them in to pollinate the plant. For a few brief days, the Titanarum becomes both spectacle and contradiction. Beautiful in form, grotesque in scent. Botanical gardens around the world gather crowds when one blooms, as people line up to witness something rare and unforgettable. In its fleeting eruption, the Titanarum embodies nature's drama. Life that announces itself boldly, briefly, and without apology. Some orchids have perfected deception as a survival strategy. Rather than offering nectar, they lure pollinators through illusion. Certain orchid species mimic the appearance, texture, and even scent of female insects. Their petals resemble bodies, and their surfaces release chemical signals nearly identical to insect pheromones. Male insects, deceived by the resemblance, attempt to mate with the flower. In doing so, they collect pollen, which they later transfer to another orchid. The insect gains nothing. The plant gains everything. This form of biological trickery is evolution at its most subtle. To humans, orchids appear elegant and ornamental. To insects, they are irresistible false promises. In these flowers, survival is achieved not through strength or speed, but through persuasion and mimicry, proving that deception can be just as powerful as force. Few plants provoke as visceral a reaction as the corpse flower in bloom. Native to Sumatra's rainforests, this massive plant releases an odor so strong it can travel hundreds of meters. To humans, the smell is overwhelming, a nauseating blend of decay and rot. But to flies and beetles that seek dead flesh, it is a signal of opportunity. They crawl deep inside the flower's cavernous structure, unknowingly carrying pollen between blooms. The plant's strategy is macabre but effective. By imitating death, it ensures life continues. During its short flowering period, the corpse flower becomes both attraction and repulsion, drawing crowds who come to experience one of nature's strangest spectacles. It is a reminder that survival does not always rely on beauty. Sometimes, it relies on embracing the grotesque. Seeds are among nature's most patient creations. Encased within protective shells, they carry the genetic blueprint of future forests, waiting silently for the right moment to awaken. Some seeds do not wait for seasons or years, but for centuries or even millennia. Scientists have revived plants from seeds preserved in Siberian permafrost for over 30,000 years. In the Judean desert, a 2,000-year-old date palm seed was brought back to life, sprouting leaves beneath a modern sky. This endurance is made possible by an almost complete shutdown of metabolism, preserving life against time itself. Seeds may appear lifeless, buried in soil or sealed in ancient ruins, yet within them rests potential untouched by centuries. To hold such a seed is to hold time compressed, tomorrow sleeping patiently inside yesterday. Along tropical coastlines where land meets sea, mangrove forests thrive in conditions that defeat most plants. Salt water, shifting tides, and unstable soils define their world. Yet mangroves endure through remarkable adaptations. Some species filter salt at the roots, allowing only fresh water to pass into their tissues. Others expel excess salt through specialized glands in their leaves, leaving crystalline traces behind. Their tangled, arching roots stabilize shorelines, reduce erosion, and provide nurseries for fish, crabs, and countless marine species. Mangroves act as living barriers against storms, absorbing wave energy and protecting inland ecosystems. They are engineers and guardians, standing at the edge of land and sea. Their survival comes not from resisting harsh conditions, but from harmonizing with them. Wildfires can transform landscapes in moments, leaving behind fields of ash and blackened earth. Yet for many grasses, fire is not an end. It is part of renewal. Certain grasses store their vital tissues underground in protected structures such as rhizomes or bulbs. When flames sweep across the surface, these hidden organs remain unharmed. After the fire passes, new shoots emerge quickly, restoring green life to scorched ground. In fact, many grasslands depend on periodic fires to remain healthy. Fire clears old growth, returns nutrients to the soil, and prevents encroachment by trees. Watching fresh grass rise from burned earth reveals resilience in its purest form. Destruction and rebirth woven into the same cycle, repeating quietly across time. Coral reefs are among the most vibrant ecosystems on Earth, yet they are built by creatures barely visible to the naked eye. Coral polyps, tiny animals related to jellyfish, secrete calcium carbonate skeletons that accumulate over centuries. Individually fragile, together they construct massive reef structures, some visible even from space. These reefs support nearly a quarter of all marine species, providing shelter, food, and breeding grounds. They also protect coastlines, absorbing wave energy and reducing storm damage. Without corals, tropical oceans would lose much of their life and color. Swimming among reefs is like entering a living cathedral, one built not by giants, but by countless small architects working patiently across generations. Clownfish live a life entwined with danger. They make their homes among the tentacles of sea anemones, creatures armed with stinging cells capable of paralyzing most fish on contact. Clownfish survive here because of a special mucus coating on their skin that prevents the anemone's stings from firing. In return for protection, the clownfish benefits its host by cleaning debris, chasing away predators, and improving water circulation. This relationship is symbiosis at its finest. Two species, each vulnerable alone, thriving together. Nestled within waving tentacles, the clownfish finds shelter, while the anemone gains a vigilant companion. It is a partnership shaped not by dominance, but by mutual reliance, a reminder that cooperation is one of nature's most powerful survival strategies. This remarkable adaptation allows clownfish to slip safely into the anemone's living fortress, untouched by venom that would instantly paralyze other fish. Sheltered among the swaying tentacles, they find protection from predators and harsh currents. In return, the clownfish become loyal caretakers. They chase away intruders, remove debris, and gently fan the water with their movements, improving oxygen flow for their host. The bond is so strong that clownfish rarely wander far, always returning to the pulsing arms that keep them safe. Watching them move, bright orange flashes dancing through soft whites and purples, feels like witnessing a quiet agreement written into evolution itself. It is a partnership built on balance, where danger and safety coexist, and survival depends not on dominance, but on cooperation. Across coral reefs, another peaceful ritual unfolds each day. Cleaner fish establish small stations where larger fish gather, not to hunt, but to be healed. These tiny specialists act as living doctors, carefully picking parasites, dead skin, and unwanted growth from the bodies of their clients. Even fearsome predators, groupers, Murray eels, and reef sharks, wait patiently, mouths open, gills exposed, trusting the cleaners to move freely within reach of their teeth. In this unlikely truce, aggression fades, replaced by mutual benefit. The cleaners are fed, and the larger fish find relief. A reef cleaning station feels like a pause in nature's endless struggle, a moment where cooperation replaces conflict, reminding us that harmony can exist even among rivals. For some sharks, movement itself is the key to life. Certain species must swim constantly to survive, relying on forward motion to push oxygen-rich water across their gills. If they stop, they suffocate. These sharks glide through the ocean day and night, propelled by instinct and necessity. To rest, they enter a strange half-sleep, shutting down parts of their brain while their bodies continue moving forward. Always drifting, never still. Watching them glide through deep blue water feels otherworldly, as if they belong to a rhythm older than rest itself. For them, the ocean is not just a home, it is a moving path that must never end. On quiet beaches under moonlit skies, newly hatched sea turtles emerge from the sand and begin their first journey. Drawn toward the brightest horizon, they follow the shimmer of moonlight and stars reflecting on the waves. This ancient guidance system has led generations of turtles safely to the sea. Years later, after crossing entire oceans, they somehow return to the very beaches where they were born. How they remember these locations remains one of nature's great mysteries, involving magnetic fields and celestial cues. Their journeys remind us that long before maps and instruments, The sky itself was a guide, and even the faintest light could lead the way across vast darkness. In frozen oceans where fresh water is scarce, penguins have solved a problem humans could not endure for long. They drink salt water without harm, thanks to specialized glands above their eyes that filter excess salt from their bloodstream. The salt is expelled in tiny droplets that trickle from their beaks or spray outward when they shake their heads. This elegant adaptation frees penguins to live entirely within the marine world, unbound by rivers or rainfall. Watching a penguin scatter fine mist into the cold air is to witness a quiet triumph of biology, life perfectly tuned to ice, sea, and survival. High above the open ocean, where landing is impossible, some birds have learned to sleep while flying. The great frigate bird can remain airborne for weeks, gliding effortlessly on warm air currents. While in flight, it allows one half of its brain to rest while the other remains alert, steering and maintaining balance. These brief moments of sleep, taken again and again, sustain the bird through endless journeys. It is a breathtaking idea, to drift through the sky, half awake, carried by invisible winds. For these birds, rest has become as fluid as flight itself. Albatrosses take this mastery of air even further. With wings spanning more than 3 meters, they harness wind gradients above the ocean in a technique known as dynamic soaring. Rising and falling in long, graceful arcs, they extract energy from the moving air, allowing them to travel for hours or days without flapping. Entire oceans become their highways. They sleep while gliding, drink rainwater, and touch land only to breed. To watch an albatross floating endlessly above the waves is to see a creature that belongs not to earth or sea, but to the space between. Hummingbirds, by contrast, live life at an entirely different tempo. Their wings beat so fast they blur into invisibility, allowing them to hover, reverse, and dart with precision. To power this motion, their hearts can beat over 1,000 times per minute during flight. Their energy demands are immense, forcing them to feed almost constantly. At night, they enter a state called torpor, slowing their heart rate dramatically to conserve energy. These tiny birds, weighing less than a coin, perform feats of endurance that rival much larger animals. Within their jewel-like bodies burns a rhythm as fast and intense as life itself. In forests and wetlands, courtship becomes performance. Birds of paradise transform mating into visual poetry, clearing stages on the forest floor and dancing with astonishing precision. Feathers unfold into impossible shapes, colors shimmer, and movements are timed with exactness honed by generations. Elsewhere, grebes perform synchronized dances across water, running side by side as if sharing a single heartbeat. These displays are more than instinct. They are expressions of vitality, skill, and creativity, where survival is declared through beauty and motion. Deep within Australian forests, the lyrebird takes performance to another level. Known for its extraordinary mimicry, it can replicate almost any sound it hears: bird calls, camera shutters, chainsaws, even car alarms. Males weave these sounds into complex songs, layering the natural and artificial into haunting compositions. Standing still and listening to a lyrebird can feel surreal, as if the forest itself is speaking back. In this bird, evolution has shaped not just a singer, but an echo of the world, a living recorder that turns its surroundings into sound. The Arctic tern is a voyager unlike any other bird on Earth. Each year, it undertakes an epic migration from its breeding grounds in the Arctic to the icy edges of Antarctica, then back again. This astonishing round trip can exceed 70,000 kilometers, making it the longest migration known in the animal kingdom. By chasing the sun across hemispheres, the tern experiences 2 summers every year, living almost entirely in daylight. Over the course of its lifetime, a single bird may fly a distance equal to traveling to the moon and back multiple times. Fragile in appearance yet relentless in endurance, the Arctic tern crosses storm-tossed oceans and endless skies, guided by instincts scientists still struggle to fully explain. Its life is written in motion, tracing vast arcs across the planet. To imagine such a small bird mapping the Earth with its wings is to see migration not merely as survival, but as a planetary dance of light and distance. High above fields and forests, another unlikely traveler takes to the sky. Young spiders, newly hatched and crowded by siblings, must find new territory to survive. Their solution is both simple and extraordinary. Climbing to the highest point they can reach, they raise their bodies and release fine threads of silk into the air. When the wind catches these strands, the spiders lift off, drifting like living parachutes. This behavior, known as ballooning, can carry them across vast distances. Some are found thousands of meters above the ground, floating unseen among clouds. Others land on ships far out at sea, having crossed oceans on invisible currents. Watching a spider rise gently into the air on threads of silk feels like witnessing flight without wings, a quiet reminder that the sky is full of travelers too small to notice, drifting silently toward unknown futures. Among nature's most skilled architects are orb weaver spiders, whose webs stretch between branches like delicate geometry drawn in air. These webs shimmer with morning dew, revealing the hidden strength of spider silk. Gram for gram, this silk is stronger than steel, yet lighter than cotton and astonishingly elastic. It can stretch and absorb force without snapping, making it one of the most remarkable natural materials known. To build a web, an orb weaver uses several types of silk, each with a specific purpose. Strong radial threads form the structure, sticky spirals capture prey, and softer silks wrap and protect. Despite the spider's fragile appearance, its web can stop insects far larger and stronger than itself. Scientists have spent decades trying to replicate spider silk for medicine, engineering, and textiles, yet its complexity remains unmatched. Night after night, the spider accomplishes what advanced laboratories still cannot, weaving strength and elegance with quiet precision. Beneath the surface of soil and fallen leaves, a very different spider practices its craft. Trapdoor spiders construct hidden burrows lined with silk, sealing the entrance with a camouflage door made of earth and plant matter. This door is hinged with silk, allowing it to open and close soundlessly. From within, the spider waits in complete stillness, sensing vibrations through the ground. When prey wanders too close, the door bursts open in an instant, the spider strikes, and both disappear back underground. The door closes again, leaving almost no sign that anything happened. These underground homes protect the spider from predators, weather, and time itself. Unlike the airy elegance of webs, trapdoor spiders build fortresses of patience and secrecy. To walk past one of these burrows is to step unknowingly above a hidden world of silence and sudden motion. Some of nature's most unsettling strategies belong to parasitic wasps. These insects have evolved ways to turn other creatures into unwilling servants. Certain wasps lay their eggs inside caterpillars or cockroaches. When the larvae hatch, they feed from within, releasing chemicals that alter their host's behavior. One species forces a cockroach into a passive, zombie-like state, leading it directly to a burrow where it becomes living shelter for the developing wasp. Another manipulates a caterpillar into guarding wasp pupae, defending them even as its own life fades. These acts feel almost unreal, blurring the line between life and control. The host becomes neither fully alive nor dead, but a tool shaped by evolution. Such adaptations reveal a darker side of nature's creativity, strategies as eerie as they are effective. Inside a honeybee hive, communication takes on a graceful form. When a worker bee discovers a rich source of nectar, she returns and performs the waggle dance. Through precise movements, she encodes the direction and distance of the food relative to the sun. Other bees gather around, watching closely, decoding the dance with remarkable accuracy before flying straight to the source. This system allows thousands of individuals to act as a single, coordinated intelligence. The dance shifts as the sun moves across the sky, constantly updating the message. Watching bees vibrate and turn in rhythmic patterns is like witnessing language made of motion. A conversation without sound, written in angles and timing. In these dances lies the success of the hive, a choreography shaped by millions of years of cooperation. In the rainforests of Central and South America, some frogs practice a form of care that feels almost parental devotion. The male strawberry poison dart frog guards newly hatched tadpoles, carefully lifting them onto his back one at a time. He climbs from the forest floor up trees and plants, placing each tadpole into a tiny pool of water trapped in leaves or plant hollows. Later, the mother returns to feed them with unfertilized eggs, sustaining their growth. This level of care is rare among amphibians. Instead of abandoning their young to chance, these frogs ensure each life begins with protection. Watching a frog hop patiently through the forest carrying its offspring is to see survival guided by gentleness and responsibility. One of the most extraordinary forms of reproduction belongs to the Suriname toad. After mating, the female's back softens, and the fertilized eggs are pressed into her skin. The skin then grows around them, forming small chambers where the embryos develop safely. Weeks later, fully formed baby toads emerge directly from her back, breaking free into the world. Though unsettling to human eyes, this method protects the young from predators and harsh conditions. In this species, the body itself becomes shelter. Motherhood takes on a form unlike any other, transforming skin into sanctuary. High in the cloud forests, glass frogs cling to leaves, nearly invisible. Their translucent bodies reveal beating hearts, coiled intestines, and even developing eggs beneath the skin. This transparency helps them blend into the shifting light filtering through the canopy, confusing predators. Resting on the underside of leaves, they seem to dissolve into green shadows. Their fragile appearance feels otherworldly, like living windows into anatomy itself. To observe a glass frog is to see life exposed yet protected, vulnerability turned into camouflage. In the deserts of North America, the horned lizard possesses one of the most startling defenses in the animal world. When threatened, it can shoot streams of blood from the corners of its eyes, spraying predators several feet away. The blood carries chemicals that taste foul, discouraging attackers from continuing. This defense requires immense pressure and leaves the lizard momentarily disoriented, but it often saves its life. In a harsh landscape where escape is difficult, even blood becomes a weapon. What seems unbelievable is simply another solution carved by evolution, turning vulnerability into surprise. Combined with its sandy camouflage and spiny, armor-like scales, the horned lizard's ability to shoot blood from its eyes ranks among the most unusual defense strategies in the animal kingdom. It is not graceful nor subtle, but it is undeniably effective. In a landscape where escape is limited and predators are relentless, shock becomes a weapon. This startling display reminds us that nature does not always favor beauty or elegance. Sometimes survival is carved from surprise, discomfort, and raw ingenuity, written directly into the harsh language of the desert. In the rainforests of Central America, another reptile seems to challenge the laws of physics. The basilisk lizard, often nicknamed the Jesus Christ lizard, can run across the surface of water. Using powerful hind legs fringed with specialized scales, it slaps the water hard and fast, creating pockets of air that keep it from sinking. By maintaining speed, the lizard skims across rivers and ponds before eventually diving beneath the surface. Juveniles, being lighter, can travel farther than adults, but even large basilisks can dash across water long enough to escape danger. Watching one sprint across a stream feels unreal, as if gravity itself has briefly relaxed its hold. This ability is not magic, but a precise exploitation of physics refined by evolution. Still, in the shimmering light of a rainforest river, it feels like myth-made flesh. High in the forests of Southeast Asia, some snakes perform a feat just as astonishing. They glide through the air. Paradise tree snakes launch themselves from branches, flattening their bodies and undulating mid-air to control their descent. By spreading their ribs and altering their shape, they generate lift, turning themselves into living wings. Though they lack feathers or membranes, they can glide more than 20 meters, steering toward branches or trunks with surprising accuracy. To watch a snake sail between trees is to witness contradiction embodied. A creature we imagine bound to the ground becomes a ribbon of motion flowing through the air. Scientists study these snakes to better understand aerodynamics, marveling at how something so unlikely can be so graceful. In the rainforest canopy, even serpents have learned to fly. The Komodo dragon, the largest living lizard, carries its own ancient terror. Growing over 3 meters long and weighing more than 70 kilograms, it was long believed to rely solely on sharp teeth and bacteria-laden saliva. But research has revealed a darker truth. Komodo dragons are venomous. Glands in their jaws produce toxins that thin blood, prevent clotting, and cause rapid drops in blood pressure. When combined with their jagged bite, this venom sends prey into shock. Komodos hunt with patience, ambushing animals as large as deer or even water buffalo. If prey escapes, it rarely survives for long. The dragon follows the scent until the victim collapses. Watching a Komodo move with slow, deliberate confidence feels like witnessing a relic of the prehistoric world. In its presence, evolution's ancient brutality still breathes. Crocodiles embody a different kind of power, one built on patience and restraint. Their metabolism is remarkably slow, allowing them to survive weeks or even months without food. One of their most impressive adaptations is their ability to control their heart rate. Crocodiles can slow their heartbeat to just a few beats per minute, conserving oxygen and energy while lying motionless in water or buried in mud. This allows them to wait endlessly for prey, striking only when the moment is perfect. In times of scarcity, it lets them endure while others starve. Having changed little in over 200 million years, crocodiles are living echoes of deep time. Their slow hearts beat with ancient rhythms, reminding us that survival is not always about speed, but about knowing when to remain still. In dark, muddy waters where sight is unreliable, some fish have evolved an entirely different sense. Electric fish such as knifefish and elephant-nose fish generate weak electric fields around their bodies. By sensing disturbances in these fields, they can detect objects, navigate obstacles, and locate prey. But electricity is also their language. Each fish emits a unique pattern of pulses or waves, allowing them to recognize individuals, signal aggression, or attract mates. These silent conversations fill the water with information we cannot perceive. For humans, electricity is a tool of technology. For these fish, it is perception itself. Their world hums with invisible signals, revealing that reality can be experienced in ways far beyond human senses. Electric eels take this ability to a dramatic extreme. Though not true eels, They are capable of producing electrical discharges reaching up to 600 volts. Powerful enough to stun prey, deter predators, and in rare cases knock large animals off their feet. They use strong shocks to paralyze prey and weaker pulses to navigate murky waters. Their bodies are living batteries, packed with specialized cells called electrocytes arranged like stacked capacitors. When activated, these cells discharge in unison, releasing a surge of biological electricity. For generations, people living along the Amazon have respected and feared these creatures. To encounter an electric eel is to feel biology harness lightning itself. In the dim twilight of the deep ocean, light becomes a precious tool. Many fish glow not on their own, but through partnerships with bioluminescent bacteria. These microbes live inside specialized organs, producing steady, living light. Some fish use this glow to erase their silhouettes, matching faint light from above so predators below cannot see them. Others use it as a lure, drawing prey toward their jaws. The relationship is symbiotic. The fish provide shelter and nutrients, while the bacteria supply illumination. Flashlight fish, for example, carry glowing patches beneath their eyes that they can switch on and off, blinking signals into the darkness. In the deep sea, even light is shared, a collaboration between species that allows life to shine where the sun never reaches. Squid take communication even further, turning their entire bodies into living messages. Their skin contains chromatophores, tiny pigment cells that expand and contract at incredible speed. With these, squid can change color in an instant, flashing patterns of stripes, spots, and waves. While camouflage is one use, scientists believe many of these displays are social signals. Squid often coordinate their colors within groups, pulsing in synchrony during courtship, conflict, or cooperation. To human eyes, these displays resemble living neon signs rippling through the water. But for squid, this is language. A silent dialogue written in light and motion, constantly shifting, never still. Far below, in nearly oxygen-free depths, lives one of the ocean's strangest survivors. The vampire squid inhabits the oxygen minimum zone, an environment deadly to most creatures. With gelatinous flesh and a slow, drifting lifestyle, it conserves every bit of energy. Instead of hunting, it feeds on marine snow, tiny particles of organic matter drifting down from above. Using sticky filaments, it gathers this debris and rolls it into food. Despite its ominous name and dark coloration, the vampire squid is not a fearsome predator, but a patient recycler of the deep. In waters that seem almost lifeless, it persists quietly, a ghost of ancient cephalopods. Its existence proves that survival is not always about dominance, but about efficiency and restraint. In the frigid depths of the Southern Ocean, one of the most mysterious animals on Earth lurks in near total darkness. The colossal squid is known from only a handful of specimens, yet it is believed to be the largest invertebrate ever to exist. Among its most astonishing features are its eyes, each as large as a dinner plate. These enormous eyes allow it to detect faint movements and bioluminescent flashes in the dark waters where it hunts. Little is known about its life, but its size and adaptations suggest a predator built for a realm where light is scarce and encounters are rare. The colossal squid remains one of the ocean's great enigmas, a reminder that even now, Earth still holds giants we barely understand. It grows to lengths that rival those of the giant squid, yet it is even heavier, a true leviathan shaped by the crushing pressures of the deep. Among its many astonishing traits, none is more remarkable than its eyes. The largest eyes of any animal ever known, reaching up to 30 centimeters across, each one as wide as a dinner plate. In a realm where sunlight never penetrates, such eyes are essential. They allow the colossal squid to detect the faintest glimmers of bioluminescence, the soft glow of prey drifting nearby, or the looming shadow of a predator such as a sperm whale. To imagine gazing into such an eye is to feel the vastness of the deep ocean staring back in silence. Though colossal squids remain largely unseen and poorly understood, their enormous eyes alone reveal how profoundly dark, expansive, and unforgiving their world truly is. In that same eternal darkness swims one of the ocean's most surreal creatures, the barrel-eye fish. Drifting motionless in the blackness, its head is transparent, like a dome of living glass. Through this clear shield, its eyes glow a faint green, aimed not forward, but straight upward. From this position, the fish scans the silhouettes of prey moving far above. When necessary, its eyes can rotate forward, locking onto food as it approaches. This extraordinary design allows the barrel eye to survive with extreme efficiency, conserving energy while remaining constantly alert. The transparent head also protects its sensitive eyes from the stinging tentacles of siphonophores and other gelatinous predators. To see a barrel-eye fish is to confront something almost alien. A creature whose skull is not a barrier, but a window. In the deep, form itself is rewritten to meet the demands of darkness. Few deep-sea creatures are as instantly recognizable or as haunting as the anglerfish. In the abyss, where food is scarce and encounters are rare, the anglerfish carries its own light. Extending from its head is a fleshy stalk tipped with glowing bacteria, a living lantern suspended in the dark. Curious fish and squid, drawn to the gentle glow, drift closer, unaware of the danger. In a sudden flash of motion, the anglerfish strikes, swallowing prey nearly half its own size. Females, far larger than the males, wield these lures, while tiny males sometimes fuse permanently to their bodies, becoming little more than providers of sperm. This bizarre existence feels like something pulled from myth. Yet it is real. In the deep ocean, light is life, and the anglerfish has turned it into a weapon. Camouflage in the ocean can be subtle, but some creatures turn it into living art. Decorator crabs actively disguise themselves by attaching sponges, corals, algae, and even living sea anemones to their shells. Hooked bristles on their bodies hold these decorations in place, breaking up the crab's outline until it blends seamlessly with the reef. Some choices offer more than concealment. Anemones provide stinging protection, while sponges may release toxic chemicals. In return, the crab grants mobility, carrying its living decorations to new feeding grounds. Watching a decorator crab move across the seafloor feels like seeing the reef itself come alive. What appears whimsical is in fact a careful survival strategy, a collaboration between animal and environment in the endless contest of predator and prey. Hermit crabs reveal another surprising side of cooperation. Unlike most animals, they do not grow their own protective shells. Instead, they rely on abandoned snail shells. As they grow, they must constantly search for larger homes. When a new shell becomes available, something remarkable happens. Multiple hermit crabs gather, carefully inspecting it. If the shell is too large for the smallest crab, they form a line arranged by size. One by one, each crab moves into the shell vacated by the one ahead. These vacancy chains can involve many individuals, all waiting patiently for their turn. The result is a peaceful redistribution of resources, ensuring that everyone benefits. It is a quiet example of cooperation born from necessity, turning scarcity into shared opportunity. Vision itself takes on an entirely different meaning in the ocean. Humans perceive color using 3 types of receptors, but the mantis shrimp possesses up to 16. This gives it access to ultraviolet light and polarized signals invisible to us. For the mantis shrimp, The reef is not merely colorful, but layered with information we cannot comprehend. Patterns, flashes, and signals shimmer across surfaces in ways beyond human imagination. These visual abilities help them hunt, recognize rivals, and communicate with astonishing precision. Their world is painted with hues we will never see, reminding us that reality extends far beyond the limits of our senses. As if extraordinary vision were not enough, the mantis shrimp also wields one of the most powerful strikes in the animal kingdom. Its club-like appendages move so fast that they generate cavitation bubbles, pockets of vacuum that collapse with bursts of heat and light. Even if the punch misses, the shockwave alone can stun or kill prey. The force is enough to crack shells and shatter aquarium glass. Yet the mantis shrimp's own limbs remain unharmed, protected by complex shock-absorbing structures. Watching one strike is to witness physics unleashed by biology. A small creature wielding explosive power with perfect control, a gladiator of the reef hidden among coral and stone. In the dim regions where light fades into darkness, some worms glow with a soft green fire. These bioluminescent polychaete worms emit light along their fragile bodies, and when threatened, may release glowing particles into the surrounding water. The result is a trail of drifting emerald sparks, confusing predators and mesmerizing observers. Unlike the harsh beams of anglerfish or the flashing signals of squid, this glow feels gentle and fleeting. Threads of light suspended in darkness. Even the smallest beings, nearly invisible by day, find ways to write their presence in light when night takes over the sea. On the ocean floor, far from sunlight, entire worlds rise from cracks in the Earth's crust. Hydrothermal vents release superheated water rich in dissolved metals. When this water meets the cold sea, minerals precipitate, building towering chimneys of iron and sulfide. Some, known as black smokers, belch dark clouds into the abyss. These structures are not barren. They support dense communities of life. Tube worms, crabs, shrimp, and bacteria thrive here, feeding not on sunlight, but on chemical energy. These vents are alien landscapes, cities built from heat and metal. In the absence of the sun, chemistry itself becomes the foundation of life. Even more astonishing are the creatures that survive in boiling hot springs on land. In volcanic regions, where water nears the boiling point, thermophilic bacteria and archaea flourish. Their proteins and enzymes remain stable at temperatures that would destroy most life. These microbes often paint hot springs in brilliant reds, yellows, and greens. In some places, tiny animals have adapted to survive alongside them, enduring heat that seems unimaginable. These organisms redefine the boundaries of life. To see living things thriving in boiling water is to understand that life is not fragile. It is relentless, adaptable, and endlessly inventive. In places that appear utterly unwelcoming, where survival seems impossible, nature quietly redraws the boundaries of what life can be. These environments teach us that possibility is not limited by human expectation, but expanded by evolution's patience. In the most extreme corners of our planet, life does not retreat. It adapts, reshapes itself, and endures. Some organisms thrive in lakes of pure acid. There are bodies of water on Earth so corrosive they can dissolve metal, landscapes that feel closer to industrial wastelands than natural habitats. In places like the Dalal region of Ethiopia or pools formed by abandoned mines, the water's acidity approaches zero on the pH scale. For most living things, contact would mean instant death. Yet within these hostile lakes, acid-loving microorganisms flourish. Known as acidophils, these extremophiles possess proteins and cell membranes engineered by evolution to resist chemical destruction. They conduct the processes of life in conditions that resemble a living laboratory of poison. Many of them stain their surroundings in brilliant reds, oranges, and yellows, painting landscapes that look unreal, as if nature itself were experimenting with color. Their existence expands our understanding of what life can endure and invites deeper questions. If organisms can survive here, in lakes of acid on Earth, perhaps life could also arise in the harsh chemistries of alien worlds. In their silent persistence, these microbes remind us that life is not fragile. It is inventive, stubborn, and unwilling to surrender. Far below the surface, life continues in near-total isolation. Miles beneath Earth's crust lies a hidden biosphere, an underground realm of microorganisms living within cracks and pores of solid rock. These bacteria endure immense pressure, complete darkness, and isolation lasting millions of years. Cut off from sunlight, they survive by feeding on chemical energy. Some consume hydrogen released when water slowly reacts with rock. Others metabolize methane or sulfur compounds seeping upward from deep geological processes. Their lives unfold at an almost unimaginable pace. Some divide so slowly that a single generation may last decades or even centuries. Scientists drilling into deep mines and boreholes have discovered entire microbial ecosystems thriving where sunlight has never reached. This deep biosphere may contain more total biomass than all surface life combined. A vast, invisible world quietly pulsing beneath our feet. Earth, it seems, is not merely alive on its surface, but alive throughout its depths. In the darkest reaches of the ocean, life flourishes without warmth or light from the sun. Near hydrothermal vents, where superheated water rich in toxic chemicals bursts from the seafloor, entire ecosystems thrive. Here, life is powered by chemosynthesis rather than photosynthesis. Giant tube worms, clams, shrimp, and crabs inhabit these environments, feeding on bacteria that convert hydrogen sulfide into energy. The tube worms, with their long white bodies and vivid red plumes, lack mouths or digestive systems altogether. Instead, symbiotic bacteria living inside them provide all their nourishment. To human eyes, these places seem utterly unlivable. Scalding heat, crushing pressure, poisonous gases, and absolute darkness. Yet life flourishes in abundance. These sulfur-powered communities reveal that the sun is not the only engine of life on Earth. Energy can come from chemical reactions deep within the planet itself, transforming poison into sustenance. Extremophiles, as these organisms are known, demonstrate that life can exist under conditions once thought impossible. Boiling temperatures, freezing ice, intense radiation, crushing pressure, acidic pools, and alkaline lakes. In every environment humans believe to be lifeless, organisms have been found. Some bacteria withstand radiation levels thousands of times higher than what would kill a human. Others survive complete dehydration, losing nearly all their water and remaining dormant for decades before reviving. Together, extremophiles force us to rethink biology itself. The conditions required for life are not narrow or delicate. They are astonishingly broad. This realization reshapes how we view Earth and how we imagine life beyond it. If microbes can live in boiling vents, frozen ice, or acid lakes, then perhaps life exists on Mars, Europa, or Titan, waiting unseen. Extremophiles whisper a quiet truth. Life is not fragile. It is relentless. Some of Earth's most familiar creatures also carry extraordinary stories. When you watch a bird perched on a wire or soaring across the sky, you are not merely seeing a modern animal. You are witnessing a living dinosaur. Birds are not distant relatives of dinosaurs. They are dinosaurs, the direct descendants of small theropod species like Velociraptor. Feathers first evolved long before flight, likely for warmth or display, and were later adapted for flying. Even today, bird skeletons retain unmistakable dinosaur traits: hollow bones, clawed feet, and fused wishbones. The age of dinosaurs did not truly end. It changed form. Every songbird, every wing beat, every migration is a continuation of a lineage more than 200 million years old. Dinosaurs still walk among us. They simply learned to fly. While birds evolved and diversified, other dinosaurs endured with little change. Crocodiles are living reminders of deep time. For over 200 million years, their basic form has remained largely the same. Armored skin, powerful jaws, and ambush-based hunting strategies proved so effective that evolution had little reason to alter them. Crocodiles survived mass extinctions, continental drift, and dramatic climate shifts. Their success lies in patience and efficiency. They can slow their metabolism, endure months without food, and thrive in rivers, swamps, and coastal waters. To see a crocodile resting on a riverbank is to see prehistory alive. They are not relics of the past, but survivors shaped by perfection through time. Some fish blur the boundary between water and land. While most fish breathe exclusively through gills, certain species possess both gills and lungs. Lungfish are among the most striking examples. In regions where seasonal droughts dry up waterways, they surface to gulp air, using primitive lungs to survive. When conditions worsen, they burrow into mud, encasing themselves in a protective cocoon and waiting months or even years for rain to return. These adaptations are echoes of a pivotal moment in evolutionary history, when life began its transition from water to land. Such creatures remind us that evolution is not a series of sharp divides, but a gradual blending of forms. To see a fish breathe air is to glimpse the ancient steps that eventually led to amphibians, reptiles, mammals, and humans. Whales tell an equally astonishing evolutionary story. The largest animals to ever live in Earth's oceans once walked on land. Around 50 million years ago, a wolf-sized mammal roamed ancient shorelines. Over millions of years, its descendants adapted to life in water. Limbs became flippers, tails grew into powerful flukes, and nostrils migrated to the tops of their heads. Fossils like Ambulocetus, the so-called walking whale, reveal creatures equally comfortable on land and in rivers. Eventually, whales abandoned land altogether. When a modern whale breaches the ocean's surface, it carries with it the memory of that long journey back to the sea. A mammal that returned home to water, carrying echoes of its terrestrial past in every breath and song. Even the familiar horse carries a hidden history. Today's horses are powerful runners, built for speed across open plains. But their ancestors were small forest dwellers. Around 55 million years ago, a creature known as Eohippus, or the dawn horse, wandered beneath ancient trees. It was no larger than a small dog, walked on multiple toes, and fed on leaves rather than grass. As climates shifted and forests gave way to grasslands, horses grew larger, their toes fused into hooves, and their bodies adapted for endurance running. Each stride of a modern horse contains millions of years of transformation. A reminder that evolution shapes life not suddenly, but patiently, in response to a changing world. And towering above all animals, past and present, is the blue whale. Larger than any dinosaur that ever lived, it is the true giant of Earth's history. Stretching over 30 meters in length and weighing as much as 200 tons, it dwarfs every other creature known. Yet this immense being feeds on some of the smallest animals in the ocean. Tiny krill, scooped up by the millions with each massive gulp. The blue whale embodies one of nature's greatest paradoxes: unimaginable size sustained by fragile abundance. A gentle giant drifting through the oceans, a living testament to the extraordinary possibilities life can achieve. With a heart as large as a small car and a tongue that outweighs an elephant, the blue whale is a marvel of both power and gentleness. Despite its immense size, it glides through the ocean with unexpected elegance, its movements slow and fluid, as if the water itself were carrying it. Its low-frequency songs travel vast distances, crossing entire ocean basins, echoing through the deep for hundreds of kilometers. These calls are among the longest-range communications in the animal kingdom, ancient melodies woven into the fabric of the sea. To share a planet with blue whales is to be reminded that Earth still shelters wonders beyond our imagination. They are living monuments to scale and resilience, breathing proof of just how vast and awe-inspiring life can become. Some insects have remained nearly unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. Insects are among the most enduring survivors on Earth, and certain lineages have withstood time with astonishing consistency. Silverfish, dragonflies, and cockroaches appear in the fossil record looking strikingly similar to the forms we see today. Dragonflies once ruled prehistoric skies with wingspans stretching over 2 feet, gliding through ancient forests more than 300 million years ago. Though modern dragonflies are smaller, their design remains nearly perfect, refined for speed, agility, and precision. Cockroaches, often dismissed or disliked, are extraordinary examples of evolutionary success, surviving multiple mass extinctions with little change to their form. To observe these insects today is to witness living fossils, bodies that have already passed evolution's most demanding test, time itself. Their endurance reveals that evolution does not always favor transformation. Sometimes, lasting success lies in a design so effective it needs no reinvention. Life on Earth has endured at least 5 mass extinctions. Throughout the planet's history, catastrophic events have repeatedly reshaped the living world. From the Permian extinction, which erased more than 90% of all species, to the asteroid impact that ended the age of the dinosaurs, these events emptied ecosystems and reset the balance of life. Yet each time, life returned. After devastation came diversification, as new forms emerged to fill the silence left behind. Without these extinctions, mammals might never have risen to prominence, and humanity itself may never have appeared. The resilience of life is extraordinary. Even when nearly everything is lost, evolution continues its quiet work. Mass extinctions reveal both the fragility and the strength of existence. Life is not a delicate flame easily extinguished, but a force that reignites again and again, reshaping itself across deep time. Beneath Antarctica's ice lie echoes of ancient forests. Though the continent today is a frozen desert, millions of years ago it was lush and green, covered in forests of beech trees, ferns, and conifers. Traces of that lost world remain locked within the ice. Scientists have uncovered ancient plant material, including seeds and spores that still contain fragments of DNA. These remnants tell the story of climates that once supported thriving ecosystems, before shifting into the frozen extremes we know today. To hold such material is to hold a genetic memory, a molecular record of landscapes long vanished. Though these seeds will never sprout again, their DNA preserves the story of a greener Antarctica. Even in the coldest, most barren places on Earth, the traces of life endure, whispering of worlds that once were. Hidden within the human genome are remnants of ancient viral invasions. Scattered throughout our DNA are fragments of viruses that infected our ancestors millions of years ago. These sequences, known as endogenous retroviruses, make up nearly 8% of the human genome. Most are inactive, long stripped of their ability to cause disease. Yet evolution has repurposed some of them. One ancient viral gene plays a crucial role in forming the placenta, making mammalian pregnancy possible. In this way, viruses that once threatened life became essential to it. Every cell in your body carries echoes of these ancient encounters. Our genomes are not pristine blueprints, but layered histories of survival, adaptation, and transformation. Life, it seems, has the remarkable ability to turn even invasion into opportunity, weaving adversity into the fabric of existence itself. Every breath you take contains atoms that have belonged to countless lives before you. The air around you is a circulating archive of Earth's history. The carbon you exhale may once have been part of a leaf, a bird, or a long-extinct dinosaur. The oxygen you inhale may have passed through the lungs of an ancient mammal or flowed through the gills of a whale. Atoms are endlessly recycled, moving from body to body across time. With every breath, you participate in an unbroken chain stretching back billions of years. Breathing becomes more than a biological necessity. It becomes a quiet communion with forests, oceans, and lives long past. Each inhalation connects you to the shared story of life itself. All life on Earth is written in the same genetic language. From bacteria thriving in deep-sea vents to towering oak trees, from insects to humans, every organism uses the same chemical alphabet. DNA, built from just 4 nucleotides, encodes the instructions for all living things. The universality of this code is profound. The same molecular language that builds a mushroom also constructs a whale. This shared blueprint points to a common ancestor, a single spark of life billions of years ago that branched into countless forms. Recognizing this dissolves the illusion of separation. Earth's biosphere is not a collection of unrelated beings, but one vast family, endlessly branching yet deeply connected. In every genome lies the same signature, a universal poem written in molecules. You are made of atoms forged in ancient stars. Long before Earth formed, stars lived and died in brilliant explosions known as supernovae. Within their fiery cores, elements heavier than hydrogen and helium were created. Carbon, oxygen, iron, calcium. When those stars exploded, they scattered these elements across the cosmos. Over time, they gathered into planets, oceans, and living bodies. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your lungs were all born in stars that died billions of years ago. To realize this is to feel both small and infinite at once. You are not separate from the universe, but a continuation of it. Stardust shaped into thought, breath, and awareness. When you gaze at the night sky, you are looking not at something distant, but at your own ancient origins. And so, dear listener, our journey through the wonders of life on Earth gently comes to rest. Together, we have drifted across forests and oceans, deserts and depths, through deep time and hidden worlds. We have walked beside ancient creatures, glowing organisms, and whales that sing across the sea. We have followed life as it adapted, endured, transformed, and flourished. If your eyes feel heavy now, allow them to close. Let your breathing settle into a slow, steady rhythm, like waves meeting the shore, like the quiet pulse of life itself. Each breath connects you to everything that has ever lived, a single thread woven into Earth's vast, unbroken story. If you enjoyed this journey, you may choose to like, subscribe, or leave a comment when you awaken. It helps these quiet stories continue. But for now, there is nothing you need to do. You are part of this planet, part of its ancient rhythm, part of its unfolding mystery. Let that thought hold you gently, like the sea holds its creatures, like the earth holds all life. Sleep peacefully. Dream softly. And remember, you carry the stories of stars and oceans within you. Good night.